The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
That is right, folks. What better way to start your weekend with some jazz music? Right in time. Right
Soothing and relaxing.
Soothing, relaxing, and it helps you get drunk. Welcome to No Credentials Required, the Saturday Brunch edition. This is the podcast where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We're presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Godzilla Media. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of your co-hosts, and to my right is a man who found out he was a third stringer to Sam Darnold. We got Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing today?
You know, I'm doing all right. I'm on my way to Dallas. You know, I feel like it's a new start to my career, and I'm a little insulted that the Niners were only able to get a fourth-round pick for me. I believe more in my talent. People are going to see these wheels once this ankle's recovered. I'll tell you that.
Great assessment. Thanks, Trey. Before we get into today's episode, we just want to remind you to go to our social media channels, which are right down below. X, Instagram, and TikTok. The scarcely used TikTok is at NoCredsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, YouTube.com/NoCredsREQ. We've already got a comment in the comment section from Cold Iron saying, "Yo, I'm in the house." Thanks, Cold Iron. Appreciate you joining us. He also says, "I have never seen a League of Their Own."
Oh man. Then I would
You're
never.
out.
I would never abdicate. But you should pause the show, go watch the movie, and then watch our review of this movie on demand later, because on the replay, because we are going to spoil the hell out of this movie.
That is true. That is true. And by the way, if you're watching live on Facebook, Twitter, or X, or on YouTube, just want to remind you to go ahead and smash that like button. Smash it responsibly. Can't guarantee there'll be coins coming out of your computer if you do that, though.
We'd have a lot more like button presses, I think, if it shot coins out of the computer.
This is true. This is true. I do that with my Mega Millions winnings.
Yeah.
So if you're on the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on any podcast platform, including Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, wherever you podcast. Rate and review. 5 stars would be a very generous amount of stars to rate. And if you leave a review, no matter how complimentary or how grossly inappropriate it is, we will read it on the air. And we've already had some comments come in the live section. We want to remind you to engage with the show because this is a live show. Excuse me. It's a live show. So I'm still coming off a cold. Yeah. This is a live show. We desire your comments. And Dustin and I, we had a little bit of a delay on the sweetest sound in all the internet. But we gotta play. I've missed it. You've missed it. We gotta play it. That's right, folks. Engage with the show. Leave us a comment during or even after the show. And we've got Chris Dietz from Fifth Down Sports saying the Rockford Peaches. That's right.
That's right. How sweet it is.
Peaches. That's right. How sweet it definitely is. Now, before we get into the review, Dustin, I don't know if you've watched Hard Knocks or not this past season. This season,
I have. I've been keeping up. I'm a little behind. I haven't watched the latest episode, but I watched the first 2 weeks.
Yes, but we have to note one. We have to go back to week 1, the first week of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
We have to show this awesome moment from the show. And it ties into what I'm going to go into next. So let me go ahead and share that moment with everyone. I know this is kind of stale. We're going back 3 weeks, but I don't care. This is a great moment. We got to play it.
We want a suite there. There's no suites, bro. But they said that was more comfortable seats. You were paying attention. You were paying attention. I do. That's what I'm saying. You try to act like I don't be paying attention.
No, I do. I'm always the one sticking up for you. I'm always the one sticking up for you.
Why?
Remember you said you don't want me to go to Broadway? Come on, let's just get it up. I said that because I feel like you'll be talking during the play, and I want you to respect the performers. Okay? I'll get you.
I can't be sick.
Bro, it's actually
I got bad knees.
Bro, it's y'all be amazed.
Knees start hurting.
Hard Knocks, y'all hear this? How good I want to go to a Broadway show. I want to eat a charcuterie board.
I knew when you said you're going to play this. I said I know exactly what's coming.
I show my sister, who is not a football fan in the least.
Yeah,
I showed her that clip and she died.
Yeah.
Right, my sister-in-law. She said my sister-in-law said I nearly fell out of my seat after I watched that clip. Which leads us, Dustin, to a brand new sponsor. We have a brand new sponsor with no credentials required.
Wow! All right.
Yeah. Today's show is brought to you by Tanzel's House of Carcucci's. Stuff the run and stuff your face at Tanzel's House of Carcucci's. Now found on Broadway.
Man, we're very happy to have this amazing sponsorship opportunity with Tanzel.
Yes,
very
absolutely.
excited.
We're very excited. We're very happy. And the boards, Dustin. I don't know if you've seen the boards. They're remarkable.
Yeah, I have not seen them, but I hear they're of the highest quality.
Yes, the highest quality wood, cut down by dwarves from the Amazon forest. At least one dwarf dies for every board that's made. For every tree it's cut down, at least one dwarf dies.
I hear that they
go to Oompa Loompa heaven.
I hear that they tried to bring in the Keebler elves to, they did some testing with the Keebler elves and it did not work out. These dwarves.
But see, Keebler elves, like they do cookies, they do pastries, they do cookies.
Yeah,
they don't do charcuterie.
I think there may have been some confusion regarding the resumes. I think that the Keebler elves misread it and they thought they were baking, biscuits or something for the boards, something for people to nosh on. So I think there might have been some confusion in the departments there. But Tanzel, he's got everything figured out now, and I hear that they brought in to oversee the dwarves. They brought in the person that built Thor's hammer. So they've got a pretty good
Mjolnir.
Yes, they've got a pretty good supervisor there. So these boards, unbelievable.
Yeah, they're the highest quality. They will put all your charcuterie items on, and they'll fit perfectly. So go to Tanzel Smarts House of Carcucci's. Get your charcuterie board today. You'll enjoy it. So now we got to go into our main event, which is the review of A League of Their Own. But of course, we got to play the trailer for No Ticket Required.
Oh, of course.
Hit me. All right, this week we are. Like I said, my apologies for the delay because after after Sunday was my birthday. Dustin was there for my celebration. I was a little bit worse for wear the next day, unfortunately. So we had to delay our recording a day, but we're going to review No Ticket Required, A League of Their Own. And Dustin, I know you've seen this movie before.
Mhm.
I had never seen A League of Their Own. I know I'm in my 46 years. I hadn't seen it, but I watched it on my birthday before we went out before my family went out with, and you were invited as well.
Mhm.
So let me get your impressions on this movie. Just like every other movie that we've reviewed this summer, it's based on true events. It's based on things that have actually happened. So
Yeah.
let me get your impression. Let me get your review about this movie first.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Saki Master, for kicking it to me. Side note, yes, I was at Ryan's birthday celebration, and I've never seen. He did a lot better than me. We did hibachi. The chef, he's cooking. He fires sake. The way they do it. He's got the bottle with the squirter in a very special place. You could all figure out probably what it was. And Ryan, he says, birthday boy. He goes, open your mouth, and Ryan did. And I have never seen his. It was very impressive, his intake of the sake, so much so that the chef called him the sake master. And from now on, we got a list going on the show. It's Rystradamus is number one because he's predicting things. I predict that Rystradamus will get another hot take right this football season. But also, nickname number two is the Saki Master. And I thank you for throwing this review to me, although I am much more interested in your thoughts because I have seen this movie. I told you when this movie was very strongly lobbied for by one of our regular viewers.
Yes,
I said,
and by one of our regular viewers,
yeah.
it means your sister.
Yes.
who I should have had on with us too. I should have brought her on.
Oh yeah, we could have done. She would have enjoyed that.
Does she know?
Sure.
Does she know that we're reviewing this movie?
Yes, I told her that
Okay.
Initially on the original. Had we hit the Monday show, she would have missed it. They were on a trip they went on a trip, but now, I told her. I said this Saturday we're reviewing it. But I told you that I could review this movie without even watching it. Now I did.
Yeah.
I did watch it just to refresh my memory a little bit. But I'll start off by saying that nostalgia is strong with me with this one. Very, very strong. I watched this movie. I was trying to remember the first time I watched it. I think initially my sister seems to remember watching it in the theater with my mom. Now I don't think I was there because I don't remember. But I do remember renting this movie at my dad's. Like we rented it repeatedly. We would watch it. The only thing that was missing from viewing it on Netflix was there was an advertisement for jarred pasta sauce with, I believe, some of the actual Rockford peaches on there. And they're like tossing the jars of sauce and they're making pasta before the movie. We missed that. We wanted that little infomercial in there, But anyway, this movie, directed by Penny Marshall, came out
Penny Marshall, yeah.
Came out in 1993. And to me, I've always said, and I want to know if you agree, this is the era of peak Tom Hanks. Because in 1993, he plays Jimmy Dugan, and he makes it completely believable. In 1994, the next year, he's Forrest Gump. In 1995, he plays Jim Lovell in Apollo 13, and all of those roles.
You forgot one more. You forgot his role in Philadelphia, which he won.
Yes,
he won
How
best
could I
best
forget?
actor.
How could I forget?
This definitely. It's the 90s is the decade of Hanks. For sure. And it shows his prowess as an actor that he makes all of them believable. And I would throw in 1996, I believe, was That Thing You Do. He was a manager in that movie. He was
that
a
movie.
manager,
I enjoy that movie. I know some people don't, but I like that movie.
I liked it.
Tom Hanks. There are so many characters in this movie that even if it's a small part, they help carry the movie. John Lovitz as Ernie Capadino, the baseball scout. That's first meets Dottie and Kit at the game, and then comes into the barn and kind of kicks the whole movie off. Hey, cowgirls, see the grass? Don't eat it. They're sitting there, they're milking the cows. He says, doesn't that hurt them? And they go, doesn't seem to. He goes, well, it would bruise the hell out of me. John Lovitz is in there for the adults. When I was a kid, I didn't understand half of the jokes he was saying, but I still laughed at him. But now that I'm an adult, he brings a little. He's one of the best parts of the movie. But this whole movie is, Mrs. Cuthbert. You only see her a few times, but her scenes are memorable. They're team chaperone. This movie's got everything. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna, there's gonna be a couple sad parts in there because this movie does take place during World War II. It's the whole reason that these women are playing baseball, because they shut down Major League Baseball, or were looking at shutting it down because some of the guys, famously, I think Joe DiMaggio served.
Ted Williams.
Yep, as did Ted Williams. Yep. So there were some big players going over to fight. And Gina Davis, unbelievable in this movie. Rosie O'Donnell, I love her in this movie. Madonna's great in this movie. There are so many characters, and what makes this movie so believable to me is this movie, more than perhaps any other one that we have reviewed, shows them coming together as a team. And it shows Tom Hanks, who in the beginning, Jimmy Dugan is not happy to be doing this.
No, he doesn't. He just wants the paycheck. He doesn't really care.
Yes, and by the end of it, he's as invested as anybody, and that's one of the things I love about this movie. I could go on and on about quotes. I love Gary Marshall, Penny's brother, as Walter Harvey. He's in this movie. Yeah. He and Ira Lowenstein. I love the fact that he's trying to keep the league going. And he's really the reason that it does get going. Memorable cameos. The guy that plays Rosie O'Donnell's dad, I'm not sure who he is, but to this day, my sister and I still quote the thing. She'll say, steak dinner, and then I'll go, on you after the game. Like we like all these things, and a little bit. I'm going to get personal on this podcast. This movie, I think you can tell by the way I'm talking about it, and I'll quiet down because I'm more interested in your thoughts as someone that hasn't seen this movie. But there's so many characters, legs always together, right over left. A lady revealed nothing. There's so many quotes in this movie. But anytime, let's say I've had a few too many beers and I really got to go to the bathroom, anytime I go in and I use the bathroom and it takes a while, I say, I Tom Hanks'd it up in there, because there is a memorable scene where he goes to the bathroom for quite a while after a bit of a bender, and for
the
years,
longest pee. Yes.
Throughout my entire drinking career, even in college, I was saying to people, I Tom Hanks'd it up in there, or I was Jimmy Dugan for that one. There's so many. Jimmy Dugan is probably my favorite character in this movie, but it's a movie where it's hard to pick a character that is my favorite. You root for everybody. The only point that I want to jump back in here is at the ending, but for now I will cede it to you because I could talk about this movie all day. What were your thoughts as a first-time viewer?
All right, so we gotta go back a bit, because we talked, you talked about earlier how Tom Hanks ruled the 90s. Let me give you an idea of what he was in during that decade. Joe versus the Volcano, which I've seen.
Yeah, lesser known, but
a good solid movie. It may have to be a required viewing at the. You know what? We may have to do like a 1990s Tom Hanks theme when we go to the Outer Banks next year.
Yeah. A Hanksathon, yeah.
A Hanksathon. So Joe versus the Volcano, The Bonfire of the Vanities, Radio Flyer.
Oh, I forgot he was in that.
He was uncredited. That's why.
Oh, okay.
A League of Their Own actually came out in 1992.
Oh, 92. My apologies.
He was also in an episode of Tales from the Crypt. So after League of Their Own came Sleepless in Seattle as Sam Baldwin. Mm-hmm. Then he was in TV series named Fallen Angels. I'm not sure if it's a cartoon or not. Then came Philadelphia. He played Andrew Beckett, won the Academy Award. Was in the music video because of they used movie clips for the Streets of Philadelphia song by Bruce Springsteen. Then Forrest Gump, where he won a second Academy Award. Then he played Jim Lovell in Apollo 13. He was in a TV series called The Naked Truth, which I believe Téa Leoni was in, and Téa Leoni was the first base woman for for Racine. Racine Bells. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, I saw her face. I'm like, that's Téa Leoni.
Oh man.
Toy Story, That Thing You Do, the miniseries from Earth to the Moon, Saving Private Ryan, You've Got Mail, Toy Story 2, and then he wrapped up the 90s as Paul Edgecombe in The Green Mile.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And then I was trying to think. So you just solved it for me, because I was like, now this movie I don't have as much of an affinity for. I would like to go back and watch it, but I've only seen it a couple times. Castaway. That was very early 2000s, wasn't it?
That was his first movie in the 2000s.
Okay, yeah. So that's all right.
Chris Dietz came at me and said that you forgot The Burbs. No, The Burbs came out in 1989.
Oh yeah, The Burbs is I will be watching.
I remember watching that in the theater. I watched that in the theater. I watched it the summer of '89.
Joe Dante classic, The Burbs.
Yes.
As soon as the calendar turns to October, I will be watching The Burbs.
Yeah. So yeah, Tom Hanks ruled the late '80s into the '90s.
Yes, because of Big. I mean, you can't forget Big. But
yeah,
we were
Big
talking.
Was his.
Yeah, we were
Big
talking
strictly
90s, but Big, The Burbs, and then I had another movie and I lost it. Oh, Turner and Hooch. Can't forget
Turner and Hooch.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big. He was nominated. That was his first Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. Was Big.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know that.
For the lead role of Josh Baskin.
Yes.
Adult Josh Baskin.
Yes. No, but my impressions of this movie, we'll do our rankings a little bit at the conclusion of this segment. But
yeah,
this was a. I like this movie. It had a lot of heart, had a lot of humor. Mm-hmm. I loved John Lovitz made the first part of the film.
Yeah,
like, you see that grass over there? You see that grass over there? Don't eat it.
Every trip I go on, I gotta sit next to one of these guys. He just everything. Dry your eyes. Yeah, I'm gonna go home, grab a shower and a shave, give the wife a little pickle tickle, and I'm on my way. Man.
After he goes to Washington or Oregon to see the girl, to see the Hinson girls play. I'm sorry, the Keller girls play. But Dottie
Keller
Hinson.
/ Dottie Hinson.
And there's a little bit of sentimental feeling in this movie because Dottie was Gina Davis's name. My grandmother was named Dorothy, and my grandfather used to call her Dottie.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little. So when he said her name was Dottie, I'm like, tugged on my heartstrings a little bit for my nana. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I also identified with Kit as well because, as you know, I'm a younger brother. I'm the youngest brother of the three McCarthy brothers. Shout out to my brothers, Jim and Jeremy. She had that, like, I wouldn't say insecurity, but she had that drive of being the younger sister, and me being the younger brother of the family. I had that drive to do better than my brothers, to be better than my brothers. When we play video games or we play football or baseball, when we were little kids, I tried to do my best to beat them, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Mm-hmm. But that drive still remains. It's very inspiring to see. You see them go to Chicago, and actually, it's interesting that Snowman chimed in. He said, I broadcasted a baseball game from that stadium in Jasper, Indiana.
Oh,
which I believe that's the field they use to film in A League of Their Own.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, they go to Chicago. They meet. You see the clashing of the cultures between these two farmers from Oregon. One who has a husband fighting in the Germans in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And the others, May, played by Madonna, and Doris, played by Rosie O'Donnell.
Doris Murphy.
A lot of culture clashing between the East Coast and the West Coast. You've got Betty Spaghetti. You've got Evelyn.
Oh yeah, Evelyn.
Evelyn with her
Who
with
could
her little
forget?
boy.
Stillwell.
My
favorite part of this movie for a long time, and there's so many, but when Rockford and Racine are playing Game 7 of the World Series, and I won't say much more, but before the game, Tom Hanks, Jimmy Dugan, managerial MVP, except for the beginning of the movie, he is very confident that they are going to win, and Stillwell is saying, "You're going to lose.
You're gonna lose. We're gonna lose."
And he takes his baseball glove and he throws it at him. And he hits him in the face. First of all, Stillwell goes down like a sack of potatoes. He goes down like he's been hit.
Like a sack of pudding.
And then the face and the laugh that Tom Hanks does, and and he says, "Got him." That when I was a kid, I would lose it at that scene every time. It always got me. And just a quick shout out: how about the casting of Stillwell? They did a perfect job between the kid and then the adult version of Stillwell. That's
the adult version of Stillwell, who I can't remember his name in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but he was.
Oh yeah, was he Francis?
Francis, yes.
Oh,
yes, he was Francis.
You just connected those dots for me. I never noticed that.
Yeah, that's Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Shout out, that's rest in peace, Paul Rubens.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had other deaths in wrestling this past week. But we might touch on them at the end of the show. But but no, I enjoyed this movie. Had a lot of heart. The ending was, spoiler alert, when the Peaches lose the last game, lose the World Series, and Kit is the hero. And you go, it's a foreshadow. It's a callback to the beginning of the movie when she says, "I want to be the hero sometime. Like it's my turn to be the hero." When they're back in Oregon and they.
Yeah, and she said, "If
Dottie hits the home run to win the game for her team, for the dairy farmer team." And Kit struck out
Kasha Dairy, I think.
Yes.
But
Lukács Dairy, yes.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, but no, you hit the nail on the head, because this is something that I wanted to talk about. This is the last point I wanted to make, and I wanted to get your thoughts on the ending and continue to expand. But all I will say is that upon my latest rewatch of this movie, I realized that when I was younger, I didn't get it. I rooted for the Peaches every time. Like, I wanted them to win every time. And I hated the fact, I was happy for Kit, but I hated the fact that the Bells won. The only character that I kind of dislike in this movie is the catcher for Racine. Not my favorite. I don't like her attitude, but she, I was like, man, I wish the Peaches could have won, because they're the team that you root for. They're the team that you've gotten to know the entire movie. They're the team that Evelyn's teaching Shirley Baker how to read on the back of the bus. They're they're the team that you want to win. But now that I am older, I appreciate the ending much, much more. That Kit gets her moment in the sun that she's always wanted, and she gets it on the grandest stage of them all.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think about when I went back to school to get my bachelor's, and I learned about the hero's journey. And in this movie, the hero's journey is not who you think it is. I mean, yes, in a way, it's Dottie, because she's the primary character of this movie, but the hero's journey actually belongs to Kit, because she winds up being the hero at the end. Like, she's the underdog. She's the underdog, so to speak. And she winds up winning the game in the World Series of professional ladies baseball for the Racine Bells. But what I liked about the end of the movie is, I mean, there's that fracture between Dottie and Kit, and they make up at the end, and which is funny. Which is funny because they have nicknames for each other. They're playful nicknames for each other. like you mare,
Yeah.
you nag.
Yeah.
And then you had that at the beginning of the movie where Dottie doesn't want to go to Cooperstown. And then at the end, when they're all together and they all have their memories and they all see each other again, and who knows how long it's been since they communicated, since they actually got in touch with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, Dottie played that one season, and the league went on for another, I think, 8 or 9 seasons?
I think so. I have to remember. Yeah, because there's the scene at the end with those two or wait, that might be at the beginning. Yeah, I think it's at the beginning. He goes, you see who that is? And the one guy goes, no. And he goes, oh, it's the Queen of Diamonds, Dottie Hinson. And he goes, I don't remember her. And he goes, oh, it's because she only played 1 year, you
Right.
know, but I can't remember how many more years it went. But I think you're right. I think it was 8 or 9, something like that.
Yeah. But then they come all together, and we find out that Evelyn passed away because Stillwell's there on her behalf, which is very sad. And we see all the characters, most of the characters. Jimmy Dugan had died in 1987.
Yeah.
They have his display in Cooperstown too. But no, I enjoyed this movie. I'll have to watch. It's definitely a watch again. And it's a great movie. I mean, like, look. Full disclosure, Gina Davis, one of my actress crushes. She's tall. She's 6 foot.
Yeah, she is a
tall
tall lady. Yeah, you know, Ryan, you two are not too far apart on height. It would work. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And also, maybe if you're tell her, hey, I am the same age as Tom Brady. Maybe
we're only separated in age by 17 days.
Yeah,
so that's the one thing we have in common. And I'm not sure if she goes for younger guys. I'm 46. So we're gonna go to our rankings for the summer movies series. And Dustin, where does this movie rank in your rankings?
Well, I feel that the way that I've kind of subtly hinted to this movie in the past, it would be almost criminal. And this is why I couched my review at the beginning by saying nostalgia weighs heavy on this one for me. But
Right.
I still think it holds up. I got to put it at number 1 because in the past I've said that this is my favorite sports movie. I've said, you know, it's got everything for me. Now, I will say if I could slot, and I'm not going to do it, but if I could slot co-number 1s, I really enjoyed Ford versus Ferrari. That one,
like a 1A and 1B.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do it. I gotta put League of Their Own. It's almost, I do adore this movie, but I just weighing everything and the memories that I have from a little kid and how much I quote it and how much I love. You know, I am a huge Tom Hanks fan. Pretty much anything he's in, to this day, I'm gonna check it out. It just and I equate him with a very, I don't know, like a memorable time in my childhood. There's a lot of happy memories surrounding like Forrest Gump, A League of Their Own, Apollo 13, some of these movies. So A League of Their Own is my number 1. I think it's a very good movie. The story's well done. Penny Marshall knows what she's doing behind the camera. Her brother Gary, like I said, even the small roles in this movie are memorable. Everybody's memorable. And you were able, your first time watching the movie, you were able to rattle off so many of the girls' names, their nicknames and everything. And I think that's a testament to this movie. Marla Hooch, Alice, you know, she doesn't wash her socks. Everything. You can remember everything. At least I can. And I think a part of it is to the quality of this movie. But League of Their Own is number 1. For me, Ford versus Ferrari is number 2. Air slides in at number 3 now. Still a very solid movie for me. And then this is where, number 4 is Miracle for me. Number 5 is, Hoosiers. Number 5 is Hoosiers for me. Number 6 is A King's Game. Number 7 is Chariots of Fire. And bringing up the rear at number 8 is Moneyball. How about you?
Well, we don't have a new number 1 for me, but
yeah,
A League of Their Own is top 3. So
okay, it made the podium. I'll take it.
Number 1 is Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah. It's a great.
Number 2 is Air. Number 3, coming in at number 3, is League of Their Own, followed by Miracle, followed by Chariots of Fire, then Hoosiers, then Moneyball, and then way down below is King Richard.
Some peoples aren't going to like that ranking.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's my ranking. Rankings are so. Look, listen.
It's
audience
so
members,
subjective.
audience. Exactly. Thank you, audience members. Just want to let you know, these rankings are subjective.
Yeah.
These are based on personal thought. Let's look. That's just basically how I think. Those are my rankings. Power rankings are subjective. These rankings are subjective. Don't take them personally. Don't at me or Dustin.
Yeah. That's the thing.
It's our point of view.
Because I know. I don't even have to ask him. But just knowing, I was talking with my brother over 4th of July weekend some time ago. We were at a house that he had rented for the week, and we were all kind of hanging out there. And I told him that we were going to be watching, or I had just watched Moneyball, because I think that was our second movie during.
That was the second movie.
Ticket required. And he was like, "Oh, I love that movie. It's a great movie." I think Moneyball be his number one. But my brother adores baseball. Used to play it. Still plays a ton of softball to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother, baseball is passion for him.
Yeah. See, anybody who loves the game of baseball their Moneyball's in their top would be in their top ranking. My nephew Christian is gaga over baseball. He's been playing it since he was a little kid. Whacking wiffle balls off the deck at the first house in Boston Spa. So he loves baseball. Absolutely, positively loves baseball. Although these days he's more into the UFC, which is fine. Grow up. He just turned 21 not too long ago, so he's into the UFC. But yeah, anybody who's a baseball fan, they love Moneyball. Whoever played it, if they played it, if they, that's their top. That's their top movie. But whatever, everybody's point of view is subjective. You got your rankings. I got mine. It's all good. It's America. It's what America's all about.
We're two guys podcasting, reviewing movies, and primarily talking sports. Even though I have enjoyed No Ticket Required, this nice little diversion for the summer.
Well, we have one more until NFL Week 1 begins. So we got one more coming up. So probably Monday we'll do another version. We'll do another edition of No Ticket Required. But the last one for the summer movie series. Then we'll go on to focus on the NFL season. So this concludes our review of A League of Their Own on No Ticket Required. All right, before we take our only commercial break for today, we're going to go over to the feedback zone real quick. Chris Dietz, A League of Their Own, says The League of Their Own movie is great. Madonna steals the show. Gina Davis is fantastic as always, but then they went and made a TV show, and it's a disaster.
See, I was thinking of checking that out. That was an Amazon Prime series, but I might stay away now because I trust. I trust.
You know what? I'm gonna give it one. I'm gonna watch one episode. And if it's worth it, I'll keep going. If not, I'll tell everybody.
That's the beauty of the streaming. You can just, you can be like, nah, this ain't for me. And there's no investment, no huge investment anymore.
Yeah. 66 Take That says Worth. Jason Worth, Worth the watch.
Jason Worth was WERRTH, I think. I don't know.
I don't remember. Chris Dietz says Streets of Philadelphia. Yep, that was a song by Bruce Springsteen. Snowman Multimedia saying my No Credentials Required crew. Thanks for checking in, Snowman. He also did add I broadcast a baseball game from that stadium in Jasper, Indiana. Dietz saying that's what that thing you do is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Steve Zahn is, to this day, and I think I'm going to do it. I want a t-shirt that says Captain Geach in the Shrimp Shack Shooters I'm getting that.
I also I mentioned to you when I saw the scene, I said I want a T-shirt that says "Avoid the clap," Jimmy Dugan.
Oh yeah, that's one of the greatest quotes, and that's another double entendre.
It's great advice.
Yeah, that's great advice. Because when I was a kid, I thought, oh, they just don't want. He doesn't want them to applaud. And then when I was more of an adult, I understood a lot more of what he was saying.
Oh man!
Oh man, it's a great one.
Deep
Well
says,
done. That's what Denver fans were saying this past NFL
season. He also says the hero's journey is Dottie's because she calls the pitch so that Kit can get the winning hit and sacrifices her own championship for her sister. Listen, I mean, it could be both ways. It could be both Kit and Dottie. They were the two protagonists in this movie.
Yes, and I don't know. I might have to. That's an interesting viewpoint. I never thought of it that way, but I always took it as Dottie's competitive fire came out, and she says to Ellen Sue Gotlander, she says high fastballs, can't hit them, can't lay off them. So right. I don't know whether
I love the high ones.
Yeah, I don't know whether Dottie was playing chess, like 4D chess in there, like this comment says, or whether she was just like, I'm gonna beat her again. I don't know.
Dietz has his own rankings. He says Air, League of Their Own, Ford versus Ferrari, Miracle, I think he meant Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Kickard, and then a load of crap, Moneyball.
Hey. Yeah, well, he was also, Dietz was the one that said it was going to be the worst sports movie, didn't he? I think
he did. He did warn us, but I didn't think it was the worst sports movie.
Yeah.
He said Will Smith is going to slap Ryan for that ranking. I don't care. And Dietz also says, I love baseball. I played college baseball. That's why I hate Moneyball.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, now you have a reason. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Then we'll go through the rest of our program. And thanks for watching. That's our latest installment of No Ticket Required. When we come back, we're going to talk some Shohei Ohtani, and also just as a bonus, we're going to talk about a couple wrestlers who passed away this week. So you are watching or listening to No Credentials Required. Enjoy this, and we'll bring up this ad read from Manscaped.
Spring has sprung, and our friends at Manscaped have the best tools for some spring cleaning. They've already helped you tidy up all the nooks and crannies of your body's basement. But this year, Manscaped can help you get the perfect presentation on that beautiful face with the new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Make sure you look your best this spring by using code BELLY20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. So tame your mane with the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. The sun is peeking back out, which means you'll have to show your face in the daylight again. So use the kit to make sure your scruff looks award-winning, whether you have glorious beard flow or some smooth, sleek cheeks. Save 20% off and free shipping with the code BELLY20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code BELLY20 at manscaped.com. Focus on the face and use the Beard Hedger Pro Kit for the cleanest look in the game.
And again, this edition of No Credentials Required brought to you by Manscaped. Beard Hedge Trimmer, Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker Nose Hair Trimmer, the Scrub, the Scrub device, all 20% off when you use code BELLY20 at checkout. You also get free shipping. The Beard Hedge Trimmer trims this beard. It trims this wonderful, beautiful beard. You also get, if you get the deluxe package, you also get a numerous amount of products. You get beard shampoo, you get the beard balm, the beard conditioner, the beard oil, beard brush, comb, scissors, which is a huge game changer because it kind of gets it cut the little I wouldn't say hanger-ons, but the little loose, the ones that come out a little bit. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to review the Lawnmower 4.0 because I don't have one, but as soon as I get one, I'll review that too. But get yours today, manscaped.com. Code BELLY20 at checkout. Save 20% off your order, plus free shipping. And the Beard Hedge Trimmer gets the No Credentials Required seal of approval. There's Puppers.
Yeah, Puppers the seal.
Puppers the seal.
All right, Ryan, if you open that Hop Street brewery that you've talked about, once you win the Mega Millions, you got to come out with a beer that, like, he's on it, you know.
Well, I did some research, and unfortunately, Hop City Brewing already exists. It's in Ontario, Canada, so they beat us to it, which is fine. I could always name something else.
Yeah.
But yes, Puppers the Seal will definitely be a feature on a beer that I make once I win Mega Millions. All right, so we're going to talk a little Shohei Ohtani. This week, the Angels announced that he was shut down, at least on the pitching side, for the rest of the season. But I believe he's still going to be a designated hitter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But the question arose earlier in the week after it was announced that he was shut down. Does the fact that he was shut down affect his league MVP chances? Dustin, I'm going to have you weigh in first. Does the fact that Shohei Ohtani, and we don't really talk a lot of baseball in this program, we haven't really done that this year because the Yankees are execrable, and we need to yeet Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman into the sun, start over. But Shohei Ohtani's been the talk of the town, the talk of the major leagues this season, leads pretty much major. I believe he leads Major League Baseball in home runs still.
I think so.
And he's been pitching very well. Does the fact that he was shut down for the year, at least in the pitching side, does that affect his league MVP chances?
For me, and this is going to, I feel bad because this is going to be a fence riding answer, but I can't definitively say so. I would hope that it doesn't, because he has done amazing things up until this point in the season, and an injury is something that he can't control. Obviously, it's not like he tailed off and started getting shelled on the pitching end of things, and it's not, or it's not like his batting average suffered or he wasn't continuing to hit dingers. But I know that sometimes in all sports, not just baseball, a player's performance heading into the playoffs or leading up to the playoffs can affect the MVP race. So I think this could affect his possible chances. But in my opinion, I don't think so, mostly because it's something that he cannot control. And also, I think he's going to get a lot of respect for trying to hit through this. I have suspicions, though. The Angels are kind of on the fringes of the playoff race. If I remember correctly, they're not eliminated, but they also they don't have the best chance of getting in. If I remember correctly,
they have a less than 1% chance of of earning a playoff spot. They're currently 62 and 67. 10.5 back of the AL West race, which, by the way, Seattle, the Mariners, who were left for dead back in May, they are now tied for first place.
They're doing that Phillies run. They're doing that Phillies run.
They're a buzzsaw right now.
Yeah,
buzzsaw.
And
the Angels are 9.5 back in the wild card.
Yeah, so I would say if they hit, and this is a kind of a prediction, if they hit double digits, like if they fall to 12 games back or something like that, I think that Shohei Ohtani will shut himself down and get this on the hitting side as well, and get the surgery. We don't know if surgery is required yet. At least I don't know. News may have broke that surgery will be required at some point. There are pitchers who have tried to pitch through a partial tear. Masahiro Tanaka is probably the most notable one. He did okay with it. But Irvin Santana, I believe, is another one that tried and it didn't go so well. So I think a lot of people just elect to get the surgery. And I have to think that Shohei Ohtani's representation or management might come to him and say, look, you guys are not going to make the playoffs. Why don't we shut it down so that you can get back for, the sooner you have the surgery, the sooner you can come back next year or possibly who knows how long and be the player that you are. But I don't think it affects his league MVP chances. In my opinion, it shouldn't. It may, but it shouldn't. How about you?
I don't think it will either, just because his season has been so outstanding. Now, I did some real-time research. We do real-time research on this program, as we do. He's already had Tommy John surgery.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2018, and he didn't pitch again. He didn't pitch again until 2021. Now, here's the interesting thing. If he elects to have Tommy surgery one more time so he can keep pitching, he'll have to miss all of next year.
Yeah.
He's a free agent after this season is over. Now, he can't pitch at least until 2025. So my thought is, I don't think it affects his league MVP chances, but it decreases his free agency value if he does have Tommy John surgery again, because he won't be able to pitch until 2025. He's rumored to, I believe his market value is somewhere in the $500 million range. We could see the first $50 million. We could see the first $50 million annual salary in Major League Baseball or sports or in Major League Baseball. So my thought is, yeah, shut down the pitching, keep on hitting until it's so unbearably uncomfortable. He's going to be hitting DH. He's going to be in the DH slot he's going to be in the lineup as a DH for the rest of the year, unless it becomes completely unbearable that you can't pick up a bat and you can't swing. That's when I say shut it down. Now, I mean, the Angels are doing the Angels thing where, and it's a shame too, because they've wasted two generational talents, not one, but two generational talents over the past decade. Mike Trout, and now Shohei Ohtani. They had the two best players in the major leagues, arguably. I mean, Aaron Judge is thrown into that conversation, obviously. But you had two of the best players in Major League Baseball, and you've wasted a lot of their prime because you can't get your lineup right. You can't win games, and they were in the playoff hunt, and now think that both Trout and Ohtani are done. I mean, Ohtani, at least pitching wise, is done, not hitting wise. I have to wonder if now. Here's the thing that kind of saved the bacon of a lot of Major League Baseball teams, because we hit. I don't know if you remember back in May, June, when the hot stove was starting to get hot a little bit before the trade deadline. There were rumors that Ohtani could have been dealt.
Yes,
if you're one of those teams that was going to trade for Ohtani, you may have saved yourself a lot of prospects because of the fact that he can't pitch anymore this season.
Yeah. And you could also look at it from the Angels' perspective. You have to wonder if they are kicking themselves for hanging on to them, because they were a little bit more in the playoff conversation then. But they said, no, we have a chance we're going to hang on to them. You have to wonder if they're kicking themselves a little bit for not taking one of those offers. But if he didn't have the injury, then we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. So hindsight is always 20/20, but still, you have to wonder if privately they're like, oh man, we should have taken this.
Yeah. It's sad. I feel bad for Trout, especially because he's been on this Angels team for good part of a decade.
You know what he reminds me of?
Sorry
to interrupt. He reminds me of Minnesota Kevin Garnett all those years.
Yes.
Where Kevin Garnett was unflinchingly loyal to Minnesota. He wanted to bring the Timberwolves to the promised land, and then finally at the end of his career, he left because he wanted a ring, and who could blame him at that point? But he gave everything he had to Minnesota, and it seems like Trout similar by all reports.
Yeah, I have a feeling that I think Mike Trout's going to go back east. I think they're going to. He's from the New Jersey area, albeit he grew up a Phillies fan, I believe, because he's from the southern part of New Jersey. I have to wonder if he's going to want to be traded out of Los Angeles, out of Orange County. I have to wonder if the Phillies are going to want to say, "Hey, we'll take a flyer on him. We'll send a few prospects your way," because that could have put them over the top. I mean, in terms of hitting. Now, the Phillies are starting to get hot too, I believe. So let me just again, real time research on this program.
Well, and it would be
in terms
ridiculous.
of the standings.
It would be ridiculous because weren't both Bryce Harper and Mike Trout were regarded as two of the best prospects in the game when they came out. So wouldn't it be they were well, Trout was considered a generational talent, and I think Bryce Harper
as well as Bryce Harper.
Yeah, both of them. So wouldn't it be interesting to have them both in the same lineup? That would be something.
So the Phillies currently hold the first wild card spot. So if they were to get him in and say sometime in the off season during free agency, or let's just say for kicks and giggles at the end of this season, after the Angels and the Phillies are eliminated, but you never know with the Phillies. That team caught fire last year and went up in the World Series.
Yeah.
So let's just say hypothetically during winter meetings in December or January, there's a trade in the works. Trout goes to Philadelphia. He catches fire there. He remains healthy. That's the part thing to the two with Trout. He has to remain healthy.
Yeah.
And with Ohtani, I mean, if he has Tommy John surgery, I'm not sure if he plays at all in 2024, which brings down his market value considerably. So, it's going to be an interesting month to see what happens with Ohtani. If he's still hitting, if they're out of the playoff race by probably the second week of September, I think he shuts it down. But I think his MVP chances with the season he's had, I think he still wins the MVP regardless.
Yeah. I think we're in agreement there. But yeah, it is. Because I had forgotten, and thank you for reminding me. I'd forgotten that he had that stretch where he already had Tommy John surgery. So maybe all these factors might cause him to try to. Because from all that I've heard, it's a partial tear. So you have to wonder if he's going to try to go the Masahiro Tanaka route. Who knows?
And there's also the possibility he never pitches again because of that tear. Yeah. Because of that tear, that UCL. It's great. He's the modern day Babe Ruth. Awesome. But you have to wonder if he's going to try to save his career by just going one route. Yeah. Going just the hitting route. And not pitching anymore.
He's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt he can hit. And it's not like, who was the pitcher? Oh, it was Madison Bumgarner. Everybody's always like, oh, Madison Bumgarner can hit a little bit for a pitcher. It was always like that parentheses. Shohei Ohtani is an alien. He's in a completely different class. This dude can hit better than, probably 85% of hitters in baseball. So...
including Giancarlo Stanton, who has only 10 home runs and is just hovering above the Mendoza line. Good Lord.
Well, we knew this was coming. I mean, he's not the young player he was in Miami anymore. So
no, and it's funny. Somebody that my buddy Jake, who I got to bring on the program sometime. He's a local guy. He's a big Rams fan. He has his own YouTube channel. Is very successful. He quote tweeted Bryce Harper's in the park home run from the other night. And they said, what? He said, Stanton could never do this. I replied to him. I said, Giancarlo Stanton would break 2 bones in his foot, pull his hamstring and strain a calf on the way to first if he hit it that deep and try to do it in the park home run.
Yeah. You have to wonder. I mean, some of it, he was a great hitter in his day, and sometimes he can still remind you see those glimpses. It's like, oh, this guy can still do it a little bit, but he's just one of those players that couldn't stay healthy. And the classic example I think of that when I think of the Yankees is, unfortunately, it's Carl Pavano. I always wonder what he could have been if he just could have stayed healthy. It was unbelievable. As soon as he was traded from the Twins to the Yankees, he barely pitched any games. He just couldn't get on the field.
Yeah, we'll have to do a post-mortem of the Yankees season after it mercifully ends.
Yeah.
Coming soon, hopefully. Unless they make a big run towards the end, but I don't see that coming.
No way.
All right. We're going to close things out today for this Saturday Brunch edition. We're going to talk about a couple of deaths in pro wrestling this week. Terry Funk passed away earlier this week, and Wyndham Rotunda, son of Mike Rotunda. If you watch WWE religiously, he was the character Bray Wyatt. He passed away on Thursday at the age of 36.
Yeah,
Man,
that was mind blowing. I mean,
now, I don't know if you ever watched Terry Funk in ECW. I don't know if you ever got a whiff of got a chance to watch Bray Wyatt when he was in WWE. I know you're not a WWE fan per se, but Dustin, let me get your thoughts about these two unfortunate.
well, first of all,
deaths.
I was a WWE fan, but more when it was WWF and the Attitude Area and going further back to the Golden Age and all that kind of stuff. But I just don't watch the current product anymore. Every once in a while, I peep AEW, but sometimes I feel like it's just high spot after high spot, and there's not enough story in there for me.
Tope Suicida.
But I gotta keep up with it, and I have turned on WWE sparingly over the last, but I just don't watch the current product. But even I knew the impact that Wyndham Rotunda had as Bray Wyatt, and later evolved the character into the Fiend and a few other iterations. I think, by all accounts, one of the most creative minds in wrestling, and people that watch now and are perhaps younger and watch, from what I've heard, they're like, the Fiend was our Undertaker. Like, the Fiend scared the ever-living crap out of us, And I looked at some pictures and everything, and that mask was something else. The ring entrance was something else. And by all accounts, one of the most creative minds in wrestling, and he's gone at 36. It's very unfortunate. Like, anytime anyone dies that young, but in a case like this, it always makes you wonder what could have been, because he had so much left, and obviously so much left in the tank too, regarding ideas and directions he could have gone and things of that nature. So this always feels like unfulfilled promise, because that's what it is, unfortunately. And then Terry Funk, I am much more familiar with Terry Funk. Terry Funk, I did get a chance to watch him some in ECW, because I, like a lot of other kids, I turned it on late at night when I probably shouldn't have been watching it on the old Sci-Fi network. So I was watching it. Shout out to what was the announcer? Not Heyman, but the other guy that
Joey Styles.
Yeah, Joey Styles. Oh my God. Yeah. So I did watch Terry Funk in ECW, even back in the day, some WCW, but where I'm more familiar with Terry Funk is his run as Chainsaw Charlie with Mick Foley in WWF.
As Cactus Jack. Yep. During the Attitude Era.
And he was just one of those guys that you're like, how is he moonsaulting? Even I remember back in the day, he was like in his 50s and he's moonsaulting. And I'm like, how is this guy doing this? But he just seemed like the ageless wonder. And, no disrespect to Ric Flair or Sting or any of the guys that were doing it. But Terry Funk, he was still doing like Flair could have a match, but his matches slowly declined. They weren't the quality. It felt like Terry Funk, especially with all the crazy stuff he was doing, his matches didn't decline. He was doing crazy stuff in his 60s. And I'm like, how is this guy still doing this? And he just seemed like such a nice guy. By all accounts, everybody respected him, loved him. And he was, I think I did some quick math, I think he's about 79 when he passed away. So he at least got to live a life, but still it in some ways you just thought that Terry Funk was going to be around forever.
Oh, absolutely. I was first in tune to Terry Funk when I was a little kid. I remember watching old WrestleMania tapes my dad used to rent from Hippos back in the day.
Hippos has it.
When they had the Clifton Park Half Moon location back in the day at the start of the Stay Bright Plaza. Well, that takes me back. But we used to watch old WWE tapes when they come out, and I remember seeing Terry Funk, and I believe WrestleMania 2 when they had the 3 locations: New York, Chicago, and LA. And I think he was in a tag team match. Let me look it up real quick. WrestleMania 2. He was in a tag team match with his brother, and at one of the locations.
Mm-hmm.
And he that's where I first saw Terry Funk. But then I learned about his antics in Japan and in ECW when he was first trying to get them, when they were first trying to build a name for themselves.
Yeah.
He would put other wrestlers over, and it continued in the Attitude Era with Mick Foley as Cactus Jack, and Terry Funk was Chainsaw Charlie, and he just continued, he just kept going. And I guess he inspired a lot of other wrestlers in these days. Like Ric Flair had his matches that were in decline, like an Impact, and I guess he had his last match recently, but he said, "No, I want to do over." And it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, even Chris Jericho, he's what, 52 or 53? He's gonna wrestle tomorrow.
Yeah,
wrestle tomorrow. He's wrestling Will Ospreay at All In and at Wembley Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
But I think his longevity has inspired other wrestlers to do the same thing. I mean, Undertaker, he wrestled it into his 50s.
Yes.
Hulk Hogan wrestled it. I believe Hogan wrestled it into his, I think it was in his late 40s, early 50s when he decided to take the boots off and be done with it.
Yeah, so, I think regularly, late 40s, early 50s, and then because he had all those back problems. Shout out to the Hulkster. I think he just turned 70 a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to the Hulkster. We know you're watching. We know you're watching. Big part of the big fan of the No Crunches Required. In terms of Bray Wyatt, I mean, I don't do appointment television watching. Not a lot of people do that. Most of my wrestling knowledge comes from watching Simon Miller's Ups and Downs on What Culture Wrestling. Shout out to the big bald bastard there. But he talks. He gave like a very shiny tribute, a very lovingly glowing tribute to Bray Wyatt on his on What Culture the other day. I still have to watch it, but he did the same thing on Ups and Downs for SmackDown. I watched that this morning before we did Saturday Brunch. Mm-hmm. But for a member from Bray Wyatt, he was originally a character with NXT development called Husky Harris.
Yes.
He's a little bit more rotund, a little more round in that era. But then you see his character evolve. He grew out the beard. He grew out the dreadlocks. And he became this Cape Fear kind of psycho character, Bray Wyatt. But then you also were introduced to Eric Rowan. You were introduced to, Braun Strowman. Mm-hmm. And also a little bit later, Luke.
I was going to say Luke. I can't remember.
I can't remember his name either.
All right. I'm going to try to pull off some real-time research right here. But
Luke Harper. Harper.
There we go. You beat me to it.
Yep. But Luke Harper, who also passed away a little bit more about a year and a half ago, he had his own issues, and I would say he died from a heart attack as well, I believe. But yeah, it was just really sad to see that he died this soon because, like you said, the way he's developed his character from like the cult leader Bray Wyatt all the way up to the Fiend and doing the Firefly Funhouse and kind of the different characters that are that he created, and to see that now go away so soon, it's very sad. And I know that they were having trouble. I know WWE was having trouble trying to fit him into a storyline. His last rivalry was with Eli Drake, now LA Knight in WWE, and he did a really good spot last night. Good promo last night on his behalf. He said that his last rivalry was with me, and it was very special for me to have that rivalry with him because he catapulted me. Like our rivalry, that catapulted me to where I am now, as now almost a main Carter, which is great for him. But yeah, the impact that and yeah, Wyndham Rotunda, son of Mike Rotunda, also another WWE wrestler. I remember him from being Erwin R. Shyster
Yes,
from WWE or IRS.
That is what I remember him
Part
most as.
Part of the
well.
$1 Million Family.
Yeah, WWE Hall of Famer Mike Rotunda, by the way.
Yes, and Syracuse University wrestler Mike Rotunda too. So, but yeah, he's a second generation. I think it was a third generation talent, if I'm not mistaken. Bray Wyatt was. So it was very sad to see one legend and another up and coming legend, a guy who could have been a legend, pass on this week. Is very sad.
Yeah, indeed. And we will remember them both. And at least we have the matches. And
yes.
I for one might go watch a couple of Funk matches just to see his crazy moonsault.
Yeah, right. I'm thinking about watching his match, Bray Wyatt's match with John Cena at WrestleMania 2020, which is the scripted pre-tape match.
Oh yeah,
I
remember
which was really fun to watch.
In the dome, I think, right?
It was in the Thunder Dome.
Yeah, yeah. Remember when WWE decided to have people like basically they could like zoom in and then they showed the audience on screens.
Yeah.
And
actually, the rest of that WrestleMania was pre-Thunderdome. It was pre-Thunderdome. Yeah.
Okay.
That was during the pandemic. That was like one of the first. That was the WrestleMania right after things shut down. Mm-hmm. They just did it at their development center in Tampa.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
So I might watch that one before this afternoon, but while I do my cleaning. So. Mm-hmm. All right, folks, we're going to end this edition of the Saturday Brunch here, but just want to remind you before we leave. Actually, I forgot to mention Christy to comment. Bo Dallas is his brother. Yep, Bo Dallas is his brother. Yep. I don't know if he's going to be. I'm not sure if he's still with the company or not, but yeah, he's another one of the Rotunda family members who are in the company who went on to be a wrestler. Mm-hmm. All right, so before we leave, just a reminder about our socials right down here below. X. Instagram and the scarcities, TikTok at NoCredsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCredsREQ. On the audio side, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcast platform you use the most, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, wherever you podcast. Rate and review. 5 stars would be appreciated. Review it. And that's all we're going to leave with. Dustin, you have anything else to add before we take off?
I don't think so. I'm just looking forward to the next show, and thanks for watching, everybody. And ready to get on and relax with the rest of my day. And rest in peace to both Wyndham Rotunda and Terry Funk.
Yep, absolutely. We want to thank you again for watching or listening to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Godzilla Media. Check out both stuff on both Belly Up Sports and Godzilla Media. We really do appreciate it. So for Dustin Henry, my name is Ryan McCarthy. We will talk to you on Monday, where we do the last installment of the summer movie series, No Ticket Required. Then we're going to press on to the NFL Week 1, just a couple of weeks away. Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll talk to you later.
Good morning, everybody.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.